Welcome back. You're watching Startup Street. Now, Loop AI, which is the enterprise-grade AI platform purpose-built for the restaurant and retail back office, has announced a $14 million Series A funding round that was led by Nykaa Partners. Now, this is going to be used to expand the product suite and grow the headcount for their offices across New York, San Francisco, Tampa, and Bangalore. Now, since 2024, they've grown 6 times to support thousands of restaurants. But for more on how the platform can grow from here on and the significance of this funding round for them, joining me now is Anand Tumuluru, the co-founder and CEO of Loop AI. Anand, welcome to Startup Street, and thank you so very much for waking up so early to join us here from San Francisco. First, briefly take us through how exactly your software helps restaurants and retail back offices manage their pricing, manage their channel mix, etc., and the size of the opportunity for a business like yours.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be on. So we think of the restaurant industry as going through what we call as the fifth revolution. It's fundamentally at the intersection of this explosion in delivery, which is a global phenomenon that's happening across every continent, every country in the world, combined with all of the capabilities that AI is offering to effectively help restaurants get ahead of their labor problems that have existed ever since the first restaurant came about. So if you think about just the US, which is our primary market, the size of the restaurant industry is a $1.5 trillion market. And that's basically about 60% of all of the food consumption that's happening in the US and growing rapidly. This specific milestone and the evolution of Loop actually marks a broader trend in the restaurant industry where restaurants are actually leaning in to meet customers where they are, helping them effectively lean into the convenience of effectively not going back into the kitchen and making food for themselves, which is something a lot of us have stopped doing, definitely starting from COVID, but as the broad economic trend as well. The way that we are actually going to power...
Yeah, Anand, I read that you're betting big. Yeah, I read that you're betting big on delivery as this new drive-through, but what I wanted to ask you is, at what point does delivery stop being incremental growth for restaurants and for businesses and start cannibalizing on in-store margins?
Great question. So one of the fundamental ways in which you can actually look at delivery, as you rightly pointed out, is the comparison with drive-through. So when drive-through actually happened in the US, it was initially seen as a cannibalization thing or potentially something that's actually taking over in-store restaurant customers. But what actually happened is over the 3 or 4 decades that drive-through spanned, we saw an incredible growth of brands and the evolution of fast food and burgers and pizzas that came about in the US. A very similar thing is happening in restaurants today, where billion-dollar brands have been actually created in a span of 5 years, fundamentally because of the incremental demand that all of the people coming to delivery are able to provide. Based on a ton of studies that a lot of our customers did, this continues to be an incremental channel.
Well, now that you've got this $14 million, what's the deployment plan? Because you're talking about introducing new product suites. What would those be and what kind of headcount addition are you looking at?
Absolutely. So our focus continues to be first and foremost in the office of the CFO. We are helping the restaurant finance team effectively take on or wear an Iron Man suit with Loop AI, helping them get ahead of gross margin questions, helping them to deploy the right funds in the right channels for them to help grow the restaurant brand. And we have a ton of product surfaces that we're actually investing in, be it voice interfaces or with respect to helping them, get ahead of chat and sheets and so on and so forth. And on the other end, that requires a ton of investments in R&D across all of our sites. So most of this investment is actually in new product development. We have an amazing site here in Bangalore where we are going to continue to double down and grow our headcount. We have a team of about 50 there. We'll likely grow well beyond 100 just there.
All right. Talking about growth, you've grown about 6 times, you say, since 2024 in your release. But, you are a young company and therefore it's also coming on a smaller base. Where did the bulk of that growth really come from? And can you sustain this kind of a momentum going ahead? And near-term targets in terms of revenues and profits, where you at and where you hope to end the year?
Absolutely. So we have 3x last year. off of a significantly larger base. The 6X is actually coming off of our last announcement or seed round in late 2024. So we've actually 3X through 2024. And as we look through this year, we are basically operating in an industry with $200 or $300 billion in effectively the labor cost of back offices and all of the money that people spend on agencies and basically getting stuff done in the back office. So we are looking at an incredibly deep market. So we are expecting to continue this growth, hopefully for the next 3 to 5 years as well.
Okay, no numbers to share on where you're currently at in absolute terms on revenues and profits?
We are not disclosing the exact revenue numbers, but we actually power close to 10,000 restaurants in the US, and we are extremely cash flow efficient.
Okay, geographically, US is going to remain your key focus area, your key and largest market, or is there a plan to geographically look at other regions? And how big is India going to be? Your presence is only in Bangalore, as we understand.
Yeah, so our current focus, just from a go-to-market focus standpoint, continues to be the US. We are expanding. Some of our brands in the US are actually taking us into Canada, Europe, Australia, and New Zealand. We are looking at the US-India market as well, and we'll continue to evaluate. But for now, our investment in India will continue to be on growing our R&D team based out of Bangalore.
All right, that's good to hear, Anand. Thank you very much again for joining us very early your time, and we appreciate you being here with us on Startup Street. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
On that note, we're going to wrap up this edition of Startup Street. Thanks very much for watching. Stay with us. More news and updates will continue after this short break.